भावयतानेन ते देवा भावयन्तु वः परस्परं भावयन्तः श्रेयः परवास्यथ. So we were in the Karma Yoga thing in chapter 3 of Bhagavad Gita, and then we had discussed about the yagna spirit, if everybody remembers.
Right.
That you should work in cooperation and dedication, and then you get very good results, and that's the best way to work.
Which
This is
Shlok number.
Oh, Shlok number is 11.
11.
So the English translation is, with this you do nourish the gods, and may those deva nourish you. Thus nourishing one another, you shall attain the highest good. And just to say the context, that he's talking about when creation was made, there were certain laws put in place, and this is part of that. And what Chinmayananji explains, it says that how it's like you help each other out, but what is the meaning of deva here? That's what he elaborated. Because when we think of deva, what do we think of? All those
Shani, Indra.
Exactly. So that's, in a way, that's right also, but here he talks about that there are element forces, that's what deva is according to the Vedanta. So all the 5 elements, and when we talk about Indra, it's a personification of that power in the universe. That's what it means. So the way the whole concept was created by the Creator is that in mutual benefit we help each other, and then you get the best result. So that means you cannot be selfish, number 1. And number 2, like in the West, that concept came much later about, hey, we are part of the universe or the nature, so we cannot abuse the nature. You cannot throw chemicals in there because it'll throw chemicals back at you. So here it is so clear over here. So it says, in his own words, all Vedic gods are but functional names of one supreme creative power manifesting in myriad forms. Because in Bhagavad Gita later on, in the chapter 15, he says that how all the phenomenal forces are part of Brahman only.
Right.
It's like the fire, the heat, or fire everywhere is part of him. Like whether it is Jatragni, whether it is in our stomach, or it is in the sun, or it is in the fire, all that comes from him only. So that's how he kind of explains it. So, but here we are in chapter 3, but what context we are in. So he's saying that Deva is a very presiding deity in any field of activity, who blesses the worker in that field with his profit. So here what Swamiji explained was so nicely. He says that it is nothing other than the productive potential in any given field. That you call Deva, for very scientific, because it's like if you apply in any situation true and sincere work and effort, and you sacrifice is made, then you invoke that productive potential in that situation, and then it happens, and then it kind of blesses the worker. Okay, you can get good results now. So that's what Deva is over here. And he's saying that when we talk about, say we say Mother India, we have coined that word. That means it is the whole potential of that country. The moment we say Mother India, means it's a productive potential of the country. That's how he's explaining it. And then he's saying that this productivity is kind of dormant in everything. And as human beings, we are the one with our yagna spirit efforts bring that out. And to the extent that we don't do a yagna spirit, we don't get good results. And people start suffering then, So that's what he's talking about. And he's saying that this last paragraph I'll read because I think it usually summarizes the whole thing. The law of seva is faithfully followed by every sentient and insentient member of the cosmos instinctively. So when you say, remember we talked about the 5 elements, how they function. They function in the bhav of seva, because it's like they are serving the humanity and all the jivas. The air is giving us oxygen, and it's not discriminating, and that's what its dharma nature is. And like how the water is quenching a thirst, and there's so many examples. And then I was talking about the tree, and then when Sneha said, oh, tree is different than the earth, actually it's not. It's coming from there. Tree is part of the earth. It's the earth's potential coming out and giving us fruit. And then a tree does not discriminate, whoever comes to it, it gives whatever it wants. So if we see that, and because humans are the only one, even animals, they said, it's like programmed in them to do certain things, and that is supposed to create the ecological balance. Humans are the only species who have given a choice. So sometimes they do wrong choice and destroy it. If we followed the nature and the laws of nature, everything would be so beautiful. And I went to one jungle, what is that called? Tropical rainforest, one place in another country, Costa Rica. And the guy took us for a walk, and then he said, look, is there anything, no machhar, no nothing, because everything is in balance. He said that we don't disturb over here anything, So if we don't disturb it, it's going to be in balance. It's just because all this brush fire, there's a weird stuff that happened. It's because we are messing it up, somewhere. So, and then it says that, here he says, man alone is given the freedom to act as he likes, and to the extent he disobeys the universal law of sacrifice, yagna, to the extent he comes to suffer, because he, with his arrogant and egoistic actions, brings discord in the harmony of the existence around him. So very clearly it is said that, so that was one shloka, Karma Yoga. And then the next one is, Ishtan bhogan hivo deva dasyante yagna bhavitaha taidratana pradayebhyo yo bhunte stena evasa. This is verse 12. So the devas, nourished by the sacrifice, will give you the desired object. Indeed, he who enjoys object given by the devas without offering in return to them is verily a thief. He used a pretty harsh word here. And what it means here is that if you are getting something from the devas, meaning these elements or the productive potential and all that, and everybody has worked in it together, and then you just grab all the results and hoard it or not share it with everybody who has put in the effort, you're a thief. In simple words, he is very harsh word here. The chori, we think that chori is, somebody comes to our house and takes something. No. Krishna Bhagavan is saying, if we don't cooperatively share everything, that's...
Yeah, he uses that nice word, yagya karke nahi khate ho, koi bhi baat, khali ann nahi. Everything
is yagna.
Yeah, everything is yagna. To wo chor hai.
So it's like everybody putting in effort.
He's told the real meaning of that thief. Chor. It's not only stealing something.
And actually, there is a whole symbolism. I don't know if you have heard. Maybe you guys have heard about Krishna Bhagwan ne wo butter क्यों चुराया था? because हम तो कृष्ण भगवान कैसे चोर हो सकते हैं भाई? तो कोई वो बच्चा, no, there's a whole symbolism behind it. It's like, we think everything belongs to us and we hide it. वो ऐसे छुपा देते थे ना ऊपर. No, nothing in this world belongs to us. It's either it's everybody's or it's nobody's. It's So the more we think it's mine, it's mine, it's mine.
वो चुरा के सबको खिलाता था ना.
Yeah, but the whole symbolism is that चोर हम हैं. वो नहीं.
वो कृष्ण भगवान नहीं, वो तो पहले खुद खाते थे, बाद में सबको खिलाते.
But I think that now you understood the symbolism, and then
But he used to.
That's what the symbolism is, that he's not a thief, we are. So so he's saying here, I'll just whatever I highlighted because Swamiji's language is really very good. He's saying, and when we thus earn a profit due to our sacrifices, we have every right to enjoy the profit sharing in among ourselves. No problem about that. But no living creature should enjoy benefits of others' action without contributing his own share to the total effort. So, that's another some people will go and, maybe attend something, and if it's a cooperative effort, then you need to contribute in some way. and that's where he's talking about. So in a capitalistic system of the life, we notice the wrong tendency of self-aggrandizement of profit produced out of the collective effort of millions of workers, thus ultimately creates sad maladjustment in all spheres of activity, and national and international peace is threatened when we thus upset the law of harmony in life. So with this idea familiar in modern finance, and a member of a society who consumes without producing is a liability to the nation. We already know. That's why people get so upset with the bums. They're just sitting there making a mess and they're not doing anything, So that's what so here they've covered everything, every aspect. And he calls it, Krishna called them a social thief, So it's like he who enjoys objects given by the devas, the productive potential tap, without offering his own yagna effort into it, is termed as social thief. So it's like one who, it's a social criminal who eats without producing, basically. So that's what his message is. I thought this was really fantastic.
Very
it makes
nice.
us think.
Yeah.
I think the previous shloka, there was a mention, you mentioned something about us, if we did not disturb the nature would balance itself out, right? I think the way we, human species, evolved over a period of 2 million years or so, I think our brain evolved in creating the logic. And I think we always look at things with logic and say right or wrong. It also gave us the ability to understand Gita. When you think about it, see, it's our brain that gave us the ability to see this. Now, dogs and cats and the horses cannot really understand Bhagavad Gita because they don't have the ability to read. They don't have the language. So I think we do have the discriminating power. It's just how you use it.
Exactly, when you don't use it correctly. And as far as understanding this, there's one shloka, I don't remember which chapter of Bhagavad Gita, when Krishna Bhagavan tells Arjun, when I see means when the Brahman, he gives the power to understand Gita, because as he sees the effort of the person, he gives him buddhi yoga. He used the word buddhi yoga. Because a lot of people, even when you read it first time, Gita, it goes over your head.
Right.
And you need like a person to explain. Look how Swamiji explained the productive potential. Otherwise, say, oh, what is he talking about, Deva? If we didn't know, if he didn't explain it, we would never know. But now that he explained it scientifically, we understood. So that shloka is there in that too, that I give that person, I think it's 10th chapter it comes. That I give a person the ability to understand when I see that, when he's putting in that effort. So again, the productive potential comes out. Because you're putting so much effort, you'll get the result. And even in the world we see, when people say, oh, why that person got it, I didn't. Hey, do you know how much that person works? Nobody's going to give you something free. There's no such thing as free lunch. And with the kids, we do this one experiment that we say, not experiment, we tell them, God does not give you apple. He gives you seeds.
Right.
Go plant it, sweat, and then you will get hundreds of apple. So it's like in this world there is all this potential is there, but you got to put your blood, sweat, everything in it. And then the efforts can be different types, and that depends on your mental makeup, and that's where all the 4 varnas come in. That if you have tamasic, rajasic, sattvic. Very sattvic people, they can put effort by their mind, which is also an effort. When somebody says, hey, I'm using my mind, it's not like he's not doing anything. He's contributing by his intelligence. The other people are doing it by their physical. Some people have some talent. And that's why Dhanam also is not just money. We should be very, very clear about that. Dhan can be time, Dhan can be your talent, Dhan can be anything. So
Well, it should be everything.
About
Right,
animals you were saying.
means whatever you have, plenty you give. Somebody has plenty of money, give that. Somebody has talent,
I
time.
cannot read Gita, but in certain respects, animals are much better. They never kill their own. Human being kill their own.
But because I think with ability and with power comes the responsibility or irresponsibility. I think it's
Yeah,
the
and
logic.
I see what he's saying. It's a two-edged sword.
It's a right.
Yeah,
It's a
two-edged
logic
sword.
that has now creates a good world and it also creates a bad world
If
because
the-
it's dual in nature. When we think about all these, our powers have two sides.
Yeah, good
Okay,
idea.
and that's what it is. When you but animals do kill, no doubt about it. They don't kill their own.
kind.
We end up most human species. We are also very
But
selfish.
there's one more very important thing about animals. Animals kill when they're hungry. Human kill for the sport.
No,
for God's
yeah,
sake.
yeah.
So there is a very clear
That way the
distinction
animals
about
are
why they
superior.
kill.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But the way, I think to extend this logic, I think I understood from the previous shloka, what is deva? The way I understood it, from years of kind of thinking about this, is that, we have got other species that are not able to talk and write and read and all these things that human beings are able to do. So all the other species are here. The human species they developed
Yeah,
that
evolved.
ability, so they are here. When you develop further into refining yourself so that you do not destruct, you control your destructive abilities, then it becomes deva. All right. So devas, we all created devas. All our rishis created Indra deva. I'm not so sure Indra exists.
No,
but
that's
Indra,
no.
Yagni-
Back up.
No, wait. Let me finish.
Yeah.
All I'm trying to say is deva is a another what we call a super human. Superhumans are.
That's what he's
are-
shattering. That it is not. It is there are certain forces happening.
I understand, but we know that other part we created it. We are calling Agni Devata.
No.
Agni-
It's a personification of that. It's like when you say
It's a
Devi.
power. Correct.
Yes.
Correct.
Devi is nothing but it's like matter and spirit. The matter part is Devi.
What I'm trying to say is that ultimate is what we call the Lord. Let's say Lord Krishna let's say ultimate. Okay, here there is a room between human species and the ultimate, and
There's a hierarchy, yes, there's a
right.
hierarchy.
And that higher beings, whatever they are, might be.
It is something like this. The water, okay, when there's one drop of water, it's the same H2O like in the whole ocean, but the power of the entire ocean is Samudra Devta. You see that?
But we are the ones who created this.
Yes,
this
we
power.
created it. We just gave it a name because people cannot fathom this thing, so they had to symbolize it.
Correct.
That's what it
Yeah.
means. So we personified it. It's
Just-
like we personified. It's a Shiva,
Or the god of wind,
Yeah.
Hanuman.
But they also believe
Pavan
that
Devta.
if depending on your Shraddha, you can literally manifest. Okay,
Right.
that also happens.
Right.
Because there are a lot of incidents. I mean, in Ramakrishna Paramhans, he manifested Devi. So human mind is so powerful, the purity of it can manifest. But I understand what you are saying. But for our Vedantic thing, we have to be clear now what Deva means. That it is there are 5 elements out there that this whole universe is made up of, and each one, that potential power, you can call it Deva, and then you can personify them.
So
Wind Devta.
we have got 300,000 devtas in our
Yeah.
Hinduism, and part of it is just the way we.
Whichever potential
personify.
power you can make a Devta. Okay, Devi ke bhi kitne roop bana diye. Devi is supposed to be one, and I heard there are 64 different Devis. That one does this job. It's like a division
They
of
have
work.
mandir for Amitabh Bachchan all over India.
It's like shopping
Yeah,
for the
they
best
worship him as
person
God.
to go and
Yeah,
say.
because there are people who
Deva.
worship the film industry. There are people who, and most of us do worship money.
No,
So we
it's
are
not a
money
joke.
devta.
Yeah, they are temple of Amitabh Bachchan.
My goodness.
Right.
So, but coming back to the basics that since we are studying the Upanishad, that where is this Upanishadic concept coming from? That's what he's clarifying.
But one way to explain that, which I have heard, is that like God is here
Yeah.
and he doesn't need anything. right? I mean, he has everything, right?
Right.
So when we do puja, we do mantra, we do this, if we want something in return, there are this hierarchy below which are shopkeepers. And they each have certain mantra you give and they will be pleased and give you certain return. And
Yeah,
that
you
is
can
the
say
way
that
it
way,
works.
yeah.
So all those,
व्यापार है ना, वो तो व्यापार है.
like,
हम लोग
yeah,
करते
like
हैं
rain
व्यापार.
नहीं हो रही थी, तो rain का यज्ञ किया. So same way, Hanuman, every Tuesday you give laddu, you get in
He gives all
return.
the strength, yeah.
You get a laddu. You give laddu, you get laddu.
No, you get what you want. I mean, he'll give
No,
you.
that's a very good way to explain. And that reminded me of one more explanation somewhere
Yeah.
Swamiji has given, that if you have a job to do with the government,
Right.
you don't go and to this guy fellow. I don't even like to say his name. So I'll
The
say
president.
previous fellow's name.
Yeah.
Obama. You
Yeah.
don't go and Obama. Hey, Obama, give me this. Where do you go? Some department in the this thing, and you
Right.
go to the department head or a clerk or this. So ये जितने भी सारे देवी देवता है, potential वहीं से आ रहा है. मगर you are going as a department to get. And Krishna Bhagwan says to Arjun, there are many people who worship devas, so I give them that.
Right.
And there are people who want to come to me, they get me.
And he also
That is the highest.
And he also said that they are all because of me.
Yes. The
And-
potential
and,
is coming
and
from there.
Sattvic people worship these, Rajasic people worship
Yeah.
these, and Tamasic worship these. So Arjun asked, why don't they all worship you if you are coming from you? And he said, to worship me, you need to be qualified. Same
You're
way,
more
like the
sattvic,
intellect, even to understand Gita. So after many, many lifetimes, you become purified enough to worship Krishna.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So-
I think that you said it very nicely. So
Yeah.
that's exactly where it fits
Right.
this whole thing.
But the way we worship Krishna is not we are not qualified. Okay, just to tell you.
Why?
No, I'm just telling you, most of us are not. It's because just because वो कृष्णा को worship किया, आपने logic कर दिया कि चलो easy path ले लो. नहीं, in order to worship Krishna, you have to be part of that. And to be part of that, you need to achieve that level. So just because कि आपने बोल दिया कि कृष्णा को बजाओ, and then you will bypass all the devtas, well, it doesn't work then.
No, I know, that's what he said. You have to be qualified.
No, this is
To qualification.
Qualification means you have to internalize it.
Right.
Okay,
You
so
have
now,
to change yourself too.
no, like for
what
example,
Krishna is saying. First of all, बोलते उसकी बॉडी को मत भजो, उसके जो बोल रहा है वो करो ना. तो फिर तो हम गीता पे आ जाएंगे.
I know.
Exactly.
No, but Gita is just one aspect, but he is Swami, Sakha, Sud, Sajna and Guru.
पर वो
So you can worship him in any form.
गीता में वो भी उन्होंने बता
Yeah.
दिया भक्ति योग में.
Right.
You know, and then when we go, okay, let's go to our Upanishad because that clarifies a little
Right,
bit
right,
about
right.
Murti Puja. It will clarify this.
But लेकिन Bhakti Yoga is also difficult to understand. कि the way Gita talks about Bhakti Yoga, he just mentioned कि there are 5 प्रकार के हैं जो you can achieve it that way. But bottom line, वो I was trying to tell you, Jogendra, कि it's very difficult to qualify you to call Lord Krishna. There is no direct line. वो direct
No,
line
because-
के लिए को आपको special line चाहिए.
You
नहीं,
need a guru to take you there.
Yeah, Guru
Yeah,
you
need to
need.
be qualified.
Right.
No, but our job is we need to maybe whatever path we take very sincerely put effort. वो अपने आप सब कुछ धीरे मिलता है. और जो आपने बोला ना bhakti is difficult, absolutely right. Krishna Bhagwan did not talk to him about bhakti until chapter 12. He talked about karma, he talked about jnana, everything. Bhakti when it came, he waited until he saw the Vishwaroop. फिर उसमें भक्ति जागृत हुई. Without who is God? I don't even know who God is. How can I do bhakti?
Also,
Hey,
when,
first I gotta learn who God is.
when you worship Krishna Bhagwan, you only get bliss. You don't get anything else in return.
Correct.
See, that's the thing.
नहीं, वो
But that's
when-
what we are seeking,
When
right?
you worship, not necessarily.
वो
When you worship Shiv,
लड्डू भी चाहिए
No,
ना.
wait.
when you worship Shiv,
I will
You
say-
want a nice house and all, you're not
No.
going to get it.
Hello.
You are not gonna
I
get
think
it,
that's a
right?
very good
Right.
question that came up. I
No.
think we need to discuss that for sure.
Very true.
Because we always discuss with children also. What is everybody's ultimate goal on this table?
Table के
at
बाद.
different stages is different
No,
goals.
are we looking for grief or are we
We
looking,
are looking
for peace
for
and happiness?
happiness.
Happiness.
Ultimate goal is peace.
Peace and happiness.
Happiness.
The house, why you have it? Because you think it's going to give you comfort, comfort
Right.
will give you peace, peace will give you happiness. Why anything, any effort on this universe by the animal, even amoeba or us, is to get that some happiness, peace somewhere. You can call it different names. And that is Krishna Bhagwan, or when you say the ultimate Brahman, is pure bliss.
Right.
We all are seeking that, we just don't know how, when.
I know, but we may not be qualified. So
That's a different thing. But this is that proven? I mean, do you guys agree?
yeah,
or you
that
don't
we all
agree?
understand.
That's all it is.
Love is this. Yeah.
Yes, yes.
But
So-
there are other gods who have their own characteristics.
Of course, and when
And
you are, you.
Although they come from the Supreme, but like he said, depending on what your ratio of tendency is in your body, if you are tamasic, you worship bhoot pret. Because they get bhoot, they worship Shamshan Ghat mein jaake all the agoris. And I've met them. And they explain why they do that.
No, I read about them, why they do
Yeah.
it, because they think that God is everything and they're taking this path.
No, not only that, they say that they can get there in 1/3 the time than Sanatanis can get.
Because,
There's a very quick path to
because
go.
they don't see the difference between the bad and the good, which we do. So
Right.
they've already crossed that.
Yeah.
That's why they reach faster.
Yeah.
Yeah. We
Yeah.
are still stuck at good, bad, this thing. They think everything is God. What are you talking about?
It's
The garden
beyond
is
this.
God too.
Now, आप बोल रही हो ना, that is logic. And when the power of logic diminishes is when you become qualified for bhakti yoga.
Right.
Without
You
know,
cannot
if you got
question.
logic, you cannot start bhakti. Bhakti requires the loss of power of logic. And that, when that diminishes, then you are able to, and that we human species are not mostly ready for that. We really like logic.
It's like
most
the
all the
realization
time.
comes. It's like my husband is a scientist, and he made that statement. He said, "Man, the more I know, the more confused I am." It's like I don't know
Yeah, of
anything.
course.
So-
And that is when you reach the level,
Right.
like I was watching this program,
that's
the
true. The
Shiva
more
program.
you-
I don't know if you saw it or
You
not
know
yet.
nothing. The
Yeah.
more you know,
But
the
so-
more you
So it's
read.
better to say that it's like a wonder. That's why he calls it a wonder.
Wonder, yeah.
Yeah, wonder. So I think that let's go move forward
let's
because
move.
our
So where are
arguments
we?
will
Are we